Yeah. First, Kira, he got a new video about Camelot Unchained. That thing is in development for 10 years in development, and yeah, he already made a couple of videos about it, and this is his new one. And from Kickstarter to complete failure. This is gonna be interesting. So we're gonna watch this. I just need to turn him a little down, I think, and here we go.
Years ago, I started making a video game series called Kickstarter to Court, and it wasn't games specifically going to court. It was
This should be good, right? Yeah. I'm looking at OBS for the audio, and yeah, looks. I think it's okay.
more just talking about, we're the court of public opinion, and these Kickstarter games have taken a bunch of money. Where are they currently? Where's the money gone? And, what do we feel about what they've done? And whether what they've done has been negligent or maybe criminal. And of course, that video series started talking about
What's going on here? Why are you stupid? Because I have. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for that.
of Valeria. And in the process of doing that, a lot of people make suggestions, do this one next. One suggestion that's always been at the forefront has been Camelot Unchained, for obvious reasons that we're about to get to in this video. So this is what the game looked like before.
This looks horrible. I mean, is this the original game from the 2000s, from the early 2000s? If so, then it looks fine. Well, fine for the time, but
everything started going dark. And by going dark, what I mean is, for multiple years now, Mark Jacobs, the CEO of the company, basically vanished from public life. And since then, he basically said, I'm going to stop talking and start showing.
Okay. So he went silent, unless he was showing gameplay, I guess, or informing people about things. Okay. This doesn't fill me with confidence.
So you're not going to see much of me until we have something substantial to show. So this is what the game was. And then after years of going dark, after very...
So this is footage of the new game. I'm not impressed at all. This is, I mean, okay, it's pre-alpha testing. Pre-alpha testing, this is fine. This is what I want to say, but this is
few updates, very few public updates, even from the company on their own newsletter and things of that nature. This was the emergence of Mark Jacob, Camelot Unchained, and what they thought was the substantial update that was going to win everyone back over to their side. I'll let the rest play in the background so you can see. You can pause the video, let me know how impressed you are at any...
How impressed am I? Not at all. This looks like a game from the early 2000s. This looks like it came out almost 30 years ago. This is the exact opposite of impressive.
Point. Suffice to say, after over a year without public news and multiple years since Mark had appeared in the public himself, the reception of this video speaks volumes about the game standing within their own community. In terms of the public's reaction to the video, you'll need to head to third-party non-Mark Jacobs controlled areas of the internet, because everything official has comments disabled, likes disabled, dislikes disabled, and Twitch chat was in emote only mode, but you can't subscribe to them, so you can't access the emotes anyway. So there's just no way to interact. As you can see...
Yeah, that's what oh, excuse me? I'm moving here. That's exactly what a good, transparent developer does. It denies every opportunity to communicate with them. Very smart of you. Very, very smart.
From these comments, people are not happy. You know, I say this to be fair.
Why would you put this video out? It looks terrible. It does. How fitting that the first scene of a PC... What? How fitting that the first scene of a PC we see... I guess PC is player combat. They are glitching through a rock while standing still. Yep, we saw that. 13 years to make a game that looks visually worse than Dark Age of Camelot, and that's still probably its best assets. Oh. It looks just slightly better than Warhammer Online, which is 17 years old. Yeah, I remember that. But looks aren't important, right? So let's look at gameplay. Players don't body block each other from moving, which I believe is something they said was important in their engine, as it would allow shield walls and the like. Ow! Well, so they wanted to have body block because of tactics and gameplay and so, but they don't have it. Spells seem to be targeted, no skill shots, which also sucks. Okay, yeah. They show a huge battlefield at the end and their FPS drops. Yeah. To be fair, Unreal Engine would do the same. Comments disabled on a video, of course. Oh yeah, that's always a sign of confidence of the people that publish a video.
It would have been really hard to make anybody happy that's involved in this game because you're so late and there's been so little movement that you'd have to show something crazy. You'd have to be saying, oh, you know, next week it's coming out and look how good it is, and it be...
Why does this game that's supposed to be coming out looks worse than Vanilla WoW? And all the other MMOs that came out at the same time. Why is it so ugly? Where did the money go? Obviously not in the art department of their studio. So where did the money go?
good. And
this looks horrible. This looks horrible. This is so ugly. I mean, sure, I'm watching a video, right? But it's horrible.
that isn't what this is. It would be a waste of your time and my time to go through and nitpick every element of this video because, I mean, come on, we are...
Do you see the movement? The movement is horrendous. They are gliding over the ground. What is this?
Eyes, we can look at this and say that in 2025 to be shown this,
and why are they so
fast? An unfinished
fast?
Version of a game that should have...
I mean, sure, they are sprinting and all, but this is wow.
At least 10 years ago, and would at that point have probably looked dated. But a few remarks that I will make is, despite this being over a decade in the making, and the company's first and best way to reintroduce themselves, you know, allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Mark Jacobs in Camelot Unchained. This is not how you do it. Years of waiting, years of radio silence. They couldn't even get the frame rate to an acceptable level for what is probably going to be their biggest promotional video ever, apart from the beginning and when they, you know, if they ever were to release. This is what they're showing you. The first time you see player characters, they're jittering around the screen. The second time you see a player character, it's there for like 15 seconds to show off something, lighting, I guess, and the character's just like morphed into a rock on the ground.
Yeah, if this is the promotional material and they're like, yeah, this is the best what we have, please give us money. No. Who in his right mind, who in their right mind, would give this company money after seeing this video? This looks horrible. I mean, if you take the Camelot Unchained thing out, if this just, a video of this quality about a new game that's coming out would be published, people would rip it apart. That's how bad it is. This is horrendous. It's so bad that it's unbelievable. And the thing is, game 10 years in development. If the game came out 10 years ago looking like that, it would be trash. How? I mean, this is either the studio is completely incompetent, or they haven't worked on the game for 10 years. Because you can't tell me a company works 10 years on a game with a lot of money and this is what comes out of that. I don't believe that for a second.
Like, this is their idea of, let's show everything we've been doing and the best that we've got, and this is what they've come up with after all that time, and this was supposed to win people back to their side. So
Jesus Christ. What's wrong with this shot? Why is there a church or cathedral just somewhere in the woods? Why? And this doesn't even look good or interesting. And why is there a glow where the cross is? This looks ugly. If you show me this, if you would show me this as a screenshot from a game that's about to come out now in the year 2025, I would laugh in your face. This is trash. Wow. That's also a reason why people don't like Western developers. Because they do stuff like this. They develop a game for a decade, getting money from fans, and this is the product they give the fans. This is shameful. This is disgusting.
For me, it's not that the video is outlandish.
Did you see the look at the player character over there? Do you see the animation and how it moves?
Overwhelmingly bad. It's worse than that, because the video is just a surface level problem that you can see with your eyes,
and of course that thing is completely empty.
It doesn't look good. But the issue is that after all of this time, after hyping up that this was going to be a new big reveal, it was going to be the very best thing ever for the game, this was going to be what you'd been waiting for, this is the best that they could do. And that says much more to me than anything else. To me, along with the massive layoffs indicating to me that things are not going great over this.
Oh, so they had massive layoffs. Who could have guessed? Oh my god, this looks so ugly.
Studio, I have to believe that if you were going to go silent for years, show almost nothing to the public, add very little updates to the playable experience that's been there for years for the backers, that you would want to reappear with the absolute best you could do. And again, this means there's only really two options here. Option one is that this is the best that they can do, and their choice to reappear now with this is just what was going to happen always. Or option two, they've been forced in some way. You know, there's been a match lit under them, whether by investors, by finance.
Oh my god. I don't even know what to say about this. This looks so ugly.
Answers, whatever it's going to be, and that's made them reappear now with what we've seen, and their hands kind of been forced to show us now what this thing is. I don't see any other option. But that being said,
Wasn't there a lawsuit? Or was that another game? I don't even remember. All those MMOs that are in development for over 10 years, they all look the same to me. This is all a mishmash in my head. They are all the same, they are all promising things, and they completely underdeliver or don't deliver at all. And at least one or two have lawsuits with them, and oh my god, it's horrendous.
there's a worrying amount of messaging around Camelot Unchained at the moment, and as well as the studio and Mark Jacobs' legacy. And that is, along with this video, came a 20-minute live stream, which was somehow worse than the video itself.
How is this even possible? Oh my god. Is this like the stream from the marathon developers that was horrendous? Oh god, that thing was brutal.
Because it was just Mark in front of a camera being wishy-washy and stammering through the state of the studio and how good this video is and how amazing everything is, despite basically outing that things at the studio have been really bad for a lot of years now, and also talking about the layoffs and saying, you know, everyone who was laid off was great, which means if you're laying off half the studio and they're all great employees and you really like their work and you didn't want to let go of any of them, what are we supposed to take away from that other than things are really, really bad?
Yeah, they're running out of money. I guess they don't get any more money from the original Dark Age of Camelot fans for the new game. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And I will, to be fair, forgive Mark for being out of practice of being in front of a camera because he's not done it for years, of his own choice, of course. As well as I prefer, you know, just sit in front of a camera and talk off the top of your head, from the heart, whatever you're going to call it, from like a corporate PR response, because a corporate PR response wouldn't be fitting for what this game is, what it's been trying to be, in the state it's currently in. So I'm not criticizing that aspect. I'm criticizing the fact that you just basically said a bunch of stuff that makes the project look really bad, and to go along with the video, it looks even worse. There was one part in the video that I really want to draw attention to, well, of the live stream, I guess, not the video, which is when Mark said this.
A couple of years ago, we made a decision. We had a decision to make about Camelot Unchained, and you know, nobody felt worse about where we were than I did. And you know, the investors and I had conversations, and they
Investors,
very generously said, you know, look, let's keep going. Let's, you know, finish off Ragnarok and keep doing what you can on CU, and then, you know, put everything into CU.
This, if you've not followed along, refers to Ragnarok Unchained, a game the studio used their game engine to build at the behest of investors, I assume. And this was basically like the proof of concept for the engine, and to maybe get a game out there and start making some money to cash in on, you know, some of the trends that were going around at the time. And the company has thrown money into this, good money after bad, I will say. They've paid creators to play it. They've created cash shops in it. They've been doing it for years. And nobody wants or cares about this game. They never have done. Nobody will play this thing. They pay people to play it. And as soon as the contract ends, they're turning that game off, uninstalling it. Their audience are all watching the video like, what the fuck is this?
Oh my god, this is great. Let's see, at Co. This is a background game at CSE, City State Entertainment, okay? Had started by a guy, Mark Jacobs, who helped make a very good game called Dark Age of Camelot. The Dark Age of Camelot was amazing for its time. Still played it after WoW came out. He did a Kickstarter. It was basically your Pantheon. Could probably got paid in figures higher than this game's player count. Well, most likely. This game looks disgusting. Yeah. I think I said something about Camelot Unchained, right? Stay away from this game. And it's been on Steam for years. What? Oh, this is Unreal Engine trying to change their name and drop all the nonsense lies they spread to the backers of Camelot Unchained. Complete shame. Wait, what is UE? No, it's not Unreal Engine. Kind of sad. Co was willing to take money from these people again. I remember him helping promote the Kickstarter for CU, and that's been a disaster. Phone game, meh. Like others said, good for him to get paid to play this. It will be dead within a week. Most likely, yeah.
Yes. Like, you can go read the comments from the creators that they did pay. They're like, really glad you got paid for this one, guy, because, man, that's fucking rough. It's just not good. It was never going to be. Nobody ever cared about this. And to then go on and say, we talked to the investors, and the investors are...
Wait, we can. How was it called? Ragnarok Online? It's not here. Or I misspelled it or something like that. I don't know.
like, oh, finish Ragnarok and then put everything into Camelot Unchained. It was always supposed to be everything into Camelot Unchained before these people got involved. And the fact that they've continued to pour money into this, the fact that they're continuing now, even after all the data is there, you can see it with your own eyeballs.
Now, this is a very bad graph. Wait. 42 was the absolute max in 3 years? Wow. This is horrendous. This is so bad. Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
Nobody wants this. Nobody's ever going to play it. It has a 0% chance of success. You spent years trying to promote it and develop it. Nobody cares. Even after all that, the investors and Mark are like, finish the game. Which presumably that means it is now finished, because if the conversation is finish it and then put everything into Camelot Unchained, well, you're now there showing us this thing. So is Ragnarok Unchained or Final Stand Ragnarok or whatever it's called now finished? If so, oh boy, what a waste of fucking time and money and effort that was. But not only that, it just shows a severe disconnect between Mark and the studio and the investors, compared to the people who are ultimately responsible for the beginning of Camelot Unchained's journey and will ultimately be responsible for the end of its journey, which is the public. Nobody ever asked for this from that group. Nobody who funded it wanted this. And all you've really done, yeah, you've gained money from investors to put into the engine, which probably got us to where we are now. And without that, would Camelot Unchained still even be a conversation of maybe existing? Probably not. But at the same time, it's the same thing that has soured the experience and this entire endeavor to that audience. And it's going to take a lot of goodwill for people to sort of come back and forgive you. And you can see, judging from the numbers, that people aren't around anymore. You know, this was an MMO that raised millions of dollars and has since gone on to be invested for millions of dollars. And 2 weeks in, their biggest announcement trailer ever has like 26,000 views. Nobody on social media is talking about this. Or
26,000. Well, almost 30. That's not a lot. That's really not a lot. That's not sustainable. Especially, I mean, I would guess that at least half of the people that watched the video were like, oh my god, no, I'm done. So you have 15,000 people, if you're lucky, that try the game, that would try the game. And then at least half of the people also wouldn't want to play it further than that. And that's just my guesses. This is a disaster. This is billions and millions of dollars burned into complete oblivion. This is this is nothing more than just a story of disaster.
Than me, apparently. And it's just really a sad state of affairs that this is where we're at, basically. So after all the waiting, tens of millions of dollars, private investment, 12 years of waiting for the Kickstarter after it's been funded, years and years of silence, this is where we're at with Camelot Unchained. And people often ask me always about Kickstarter games because that's sort of like where my channel originally got popular. They'll say, what's your opinion on this game? What's your opinion on Camelot Unchained? And if you'd have asked me in 2021, it would have been, there's a small chance it succeeds. There's a small chance it comes out and it does well and it's everything people want it to be and it finds a market and everything works out. But if you ask me now, there's 0% chance because we now have the history of what they've done with one released game, what they've tried to do in terms of like promoting their engine over what people would have initially wanted with just a slightly updated version of Dark Age of Camelot, in iteration on what people already knew and loved. They've spent so long doing stuff that people don't care about that most of the people a decade, 13 years on, that were already probably older gamers then, just don't care or have moved on or just don't like Mark or don't like where the company's gone. And maybe they'd play it if it came out, in the next couple of months or whatever. But judging from where we are, judging from the layoff, judging what happened with the game that they put a bunch of time and effort in to make, and it just shows a lack of competence to deliver what is the hardest and the largest video game genre to make. It's also worth mentioning that with so many of the employees gone, you've got to think if they couldn't deliver with that amount of people and the people that were their first ballot picks or whatever, how are they going to do it now with half the staff, and clearly a dwindling war chest of funds to continue the development of the game? They needed years ago to
half the people were fired. Half the people. That's a lot. That's bad. Another thing, the engine. If they wanted to have promoted the engine, why didn't they just do tech demos? I mean, Unreal does that, Unity does that, every engine does tech demos. Why don't they just put out tech demos? Then they can, have developers take the engine, make a game, and free advertisement. You don't need to make your own game to advertise your engine. You can just put videos out showcasing what the engine is capable of. That's literally what all others do. Why making it so complicated? This makes no sense.
release something that was
Oh, I know why it did that. Because back in the day, in the 90s and up into the mid 2000s, other developers did that. I mean, Epic, id Software, and Valve. They made games on the new engines, and they were basically promotions for the engines, especially true with the Unreal games and Doom 3 and Quake 1 and Quake 2. Half-Life 1 not so much, because that's just that engine is just a modified Quake 1 engine, highly modified, but still just Quake 1. Source engine still in the core Quake 1, but the core is so imaginably small at that point that it's their own engine. By the way, the same goes for Source 2. It's all still fundamentally Quake 1 engine from 1995, 96, somewhere there, around there. long time ago.
Financially viable in terms of returning revenue to the company to interest other investors, or to make the game engine make sense for people to further invest in, or to have people using the engine in order to kick back revenue the same way Unreal and Unity works, and CryEngine, things like that. But as far as I can tell, that hasn't happened. And if you were looking to make a game and you were looking to spend millions of dollars on technology to build out something that required what Camelot Unchained's engine was built to do, you know, the hundreds of players on screen battling and things like that, the other engines at this point have probably outpaced them. But even if they hadn't, would what Camelot Unchained has shown to the public and put out there as like a viable product in terms of the Camelot Unchained MMO, as well as the Ragnarok Unchained, Final Stand Ragnarok, whatever the fuck it's called, would that give you confidence to put millions of dollars, or, you know, spend years and years of time trying to build a game on top of it? No, I don't think so. Is it possible investors continue to pour money into this and just hope that things work out? Sure, but you also have to look at the context of where we are in the video game industry right now. There is less and less money coming into the industry from VCs and from investment groups in general than almost ever before. The massive growth of VC money across like 2018 to 2022 is almost completely dried up. Loads of these small independent studios that were previously being propped up by a bunch of private money is no longer, and we're seeing studios close based on this fact. So with the fact that they fired a bunch of people, and the fact that they're showing us this now and it's not looking in a great state, I would say the likelihood of Camelot Unchained turning into anything at this stage is about as close to zero as you could possibly say, without it being literally impossible. That being said, for me personally, for, you know, the sake of the people who work there, for the MMO fans who were excited for this 13 years ago, for the people who threw money into this dream all those years ago, for Mark, for the studio, I hope that I'm wrong. You know, I hope it's one of those times where I look into a Kickstarter and somehow everything I see, despite being right about them all previously, this one just broke my brain and I'm totally wrong. Hopefully, but I just don't think that's the case. I really don't think it is. So we'll have to wait and see. And, you know, maybe they'll prove me wrong this time. But either way, as usual, time proves all of us right or wrong or a fool. And
yeah, I don't even think the game will come out. I think the studio will just shut down. Just completely shutting down, and then they are gone, and that's it. That's what I think will happen.
And we'll wait and see. You know, if it comes out, it comes out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And it's just one of those things. I have no doubt Camelot Unchained will end up in a Kickstarter Corp video at some stage on the main channel. And we'll see. So yeah, check out the links in the video description if you want to support my content. Check out GamerSups. Definitely go support them. They support me. Any money you spend using my discount code will obviously give you money off. But also, more importantly, will kick back money to me, and I earn money, and then I can spend it on stuff like rent. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
Well, that was something. Another Kira video. Literally named Kira. If you want to, if you don't already know him, you know, check him out. Give the video a like. What did I want to do next?